Imagine being the CEO of your own company, walking into your luxury store, only to be treated like a total stranger by your own employees. Now picture this. In just 7 minutes, you go from shock to taking full control, sending a clear message that disrespect will never be tolerated, not in your store, not in your company, and definitely not by you. This is the true story of how Kendra Harris, a black woman CEO, took a stand and showed the world exactly what it means to lead with authority, integrity, and strength. Stay tuned to find out how she handled the shocking betrayal that would change everything. Imagine walking into your own store, ready to shop, only to be treated like a complete stranger. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what happened to Kendra Harris, a powerful black woman and the CEO of one of the top jewelry brands in the country. Kendra had built her company from the ground up, battling industry stereotypes and racial bias every step of the way. Her brand was a symbol of success, elegance, and luxury. Yet in this moment, she would experience something far from the empowerment her hard work had earned her. Kendra entered one of her high-end jewelry locations, hoping to pick up a few pieces for an important business meeting. However, as soon as she walked through the door, something strange happened. The store employees seemed to freeze. Their eyes lingered on her, but no one said a word. It wasn't the warm, welcoming greeting she was used to. Instead, she was met with an awkward silence that hung heavy in the air. A middle-aged white store manager who stood behind the counter completely ignored her presence. Instead of the usual respectful acknowledgement of a VIP customer, he asked, "Can I help you, miss?" His tone was dismissive, almost patronizing, as if she were just another customer off the street. Kendra was taken aback. How could he not recognize her? She was the face of the brand, featured in magazines, and a public figure in the business world. As Kendra tried to address the situation, the manager continued to be dismissive, leaving her stunned and furious. This wasn't just poor service, it was blatant disrespect, and it shook her to her core. As Kendra stood there trying to process what was happening, it felt as though time had stopped. This wasn't just a random encounter, it was deeply personal. Kendra had dedicated years of her life to building her company, working tirelessly to push past barriers that many said she could never overcome. She was the embodiment of hard work, perseverance, and success. Yet, here she was, being treated like a stranger in the very place she had worked so hard to establish. It stung not only because she was the CEO of this luxury brand, but because this was a place she had created, a place where she had invested so much of herself. She could feel the eyes of her employees on her. They were standing in the background, looking nervous and unsure, but no one dared to step in or say a word. It was the kind of situation that often happens in workplaces where people feel too intimidated or powerless to intervene, even when they know something is wrong. The dynamics of power in that room were clear. The manager held authority, but Kendra, as the owner of the brand, had the power to make the final call. Despite that, she was being treated like a lesser customer. What made the situation even more disheartening was that the manager didn't even recognize her, despite her being one of the most well-known figures in the industry. Kendra had been featured in multiple business magazines and was a widely recognized public figure. Her face and name were familiar to many. Yet this manager, who worked for her, had no idea who she was. Worse still, it was as if he didn't care enough to find out. He continued to dismiss her, making it painfully clear that he didn't regard her with the respect she deserved. Kendra had built everything from scratch, fought for every inch of her success, and this blatant disrespect was unacceptable. She knew she could not let it slide. This wasn't just about one rude employee. It was a reminder that, despite all her accomplishments, there were still people who saw her as inferior. That was something she couldn't ignore. As Kendra stood there, the manager's continued indifference only fueled her determination. This wasn't just about a rude interaction. It was about standing her ground and not letting anyone undermine her. She wasn't going to let this slide. Kendra wasn't just a businesswoman. She was a trailblazer, someone who had overcome countless obstacles to rise to the top of an industry that had always been stacked against her. As a black woman in a male-dominated jewelry world, she had faced doubt and discrimination every step of the way. But each challenge only made her more resolute in proving her worth. The manager's disrespect was just another hurdle in her path. Yet this time, it wasn't about proving anything to herself. It was about making a point. This was her opportunity to show the world that no one, not even someone who worked for her, could treat her with such disdain. It wasn't just about her anymore. It was for everyone who had ever been dismissed, underestimated, or overlooked. With calm precision, Kendra made her move. She looked directly at the manager, her voice steady but unwavering as she spoke. "I'm sorry, but I don't think you understand who I am. I'm the CEO of this company, and the way you just treated me is not acceptable. Not now, not ever." The words hit the manager like a ton of bricks. His face turned pale, and he stammered an apology. But Kendra wasn't buying it. She knew this wasn't the first time he had acted in such a way. But what happened next completely stunned him. Kendra wasn't about to let this disrespect slide. Kendra stood tall, her presence radiating authority and confidence. She knew this moment was hers to own. With a level of composure only someone in her position could exude, she didn't simply stop at calling out the manager's disrespect. She took swift, decisive action. Without any hesitation, Kendra walked toward the store's office. Her steps were calm, but there was an undeniable intensity in her stride. She reached for her phone, making the call to the company's HR department. Her voice was steady, yet firm, as she issued the order that would shake the entire store in less than 7 minutes. "I need the manager's details, and I need him gone. Effective immediately." The HR representative on the other end of the line was taken aback. "Wait, what? You're sure about this?" Kendra's response was unwavering. "Yes. I don't care how long he's been with us. He disrespected not just me, but everything this brand stands for. He's out." There was no second-guessing, no wavering. She was clear in her conviction. By now, the employees in the store were whispering among themselves. They were in disbelief, watching as the woman who had built this company with blood, sweat, and tears was standing up for herself. But it was more than just about her. It was about something bigger. Kendra wasn't just fighting for herself. She was fighting for respect, dignity, and the value of being seen. She was sending a clear message. No one, not even those in positions of power, could treat her with disrespect in her own company. Within moments, the impact of Kendra's decision rippled throughout the store. The manager, still in shock, was summoned into the office and fired on the spot. The employees who had witnessed the entire exchange could hardly believe their eyes. The air was thick with disbelief, but there was no mistaking the message Kendra had sent. Disrespect would not be tolerated in her company, especially from someone in a position of power. But Kendra's actions didn't stop there. She wasn't just making a point with the firing. She was setting a precedent for how her company would operate moving forward. Immediately, Kendra called for a company-wide meeting. She gathered her staff, making sure her voice was heard by every single person. With a powerful presence, she addressed them, sharing her story and making it clear that her leadership went beyond just running a business. "You are not here to tolerate disrespect," Kendra said, her voice unwavering. "You are here to thrive. And we will never be a company that tolerates mistreatment of any kind to any person." Her words rang through the room, leaving a lasting impact on her employees. Many of them had experienced similar tension in the workplace, where power dynamics made it difficult to speak up. Kendra's actions not only validated their feelings, but empowered them. She wasn't just a CEO. She was a living example of strength, leadership, and unwavering conviction. This moment became a defining chapter in Kendra's career. It wasn't just about firing a disrespectful manager. It was about claiming her authority, showing that a Black woman CEO could never be overlooked. Kendra proved that she was more than capable of making tough decisions to protect the values and integrity of her company. And for the manager who thought he could get away with disrespect, he learned the hard way that disrespect has consequences, especially when it's directed at someone who built the empire you work in. If you enjoyed this powerful story and want more inspiring content like this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a new video. Your support helps us bring more amazing stories to life. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep striving for greatness.